Hi guys, everyone's talking about the thrifty panel board that you can buy from Home Depot. I'm going to show you the correct way to cut it because there are a couple tricks that'll get you a nice clean edge. So I'm just going to go through the supplies and then go through the process. It'll be really easy. So you need a few things. You need to get the panel board to begin with, which is that right there. So it comes in 4-foot by 8-foot sections at Home Depot. So you're gonna have to bring a big old truck or trailer, or have them cut it there into smaller pieces. But I don't recommend that because they got a really crappy blade. It's gonna give you really rough edges. But that might work out for you depending on how you're gonna cut it. Anyways, so you need the thrifty white panel. You're going to need some masking tape. I prefer the thick stuff. The wide stuff. 2 inches is probably best. You can use the 1 inch, but 2 inches will give you a little bit more breathing room. Duct tape probably wouldn't work. Something you can remove easily. This will protect your edge, actually. We're going to lay this down before you cut. You're also going to need a pencil to mark your measurements, of course. You're going to need some kind of measuring device. This is a measuring stick that is a straight edge. It's metal. It's nice. You're going to need a circular saw, but you're going to need a special blade. What you're going to need is a blade with a lot of teeth. See that? That'll give you your nice smooth edge. Look at all them teeth. I recommend the ones that are composite, that have some kind of composite in them, not the all metal ones. Because this will just give you a nicer edge, and you'll see the results after I cut it. And actually, probably the most important thing about making straight lines when you're cutting is having something heavy around. Because if you put that down on the white panel board, that'll prevent vibrations from happening, and that's going to be your main cause of imperfections and rough edges. So get something heavy. I got a big old subwoofer that I haven't used in a long time. I'm going to use that. Get something heavy, tape your boards down real nice, get rid of that vibration. That's going to be your trick. Okay, so now I'll pause it here and show you the next part. Hi, so what we're going to do in this step is fairly simple. We're going to measure out where we're going to cut. And I'm actually going to put masking tape on this side, on the white side. And we're actually not going to cut this side. We're going to flip it over and cut it. But the masking tape goes on this side. The side you want to protect is where the masking tape goes. So I make my paintings, 16 by 20. So I'm going to measure 16 inches out, and I'm going to put a piece of masking tape all the way across. Now I'm on the other side, 16 inches, mark it, take a piece of masking tape. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the markings I made because I got that 2 inches of width. So I got to make sure the tape's covering it. Alright, that's it for this side. I'm going to just flip this over. So in this step, I'm going to mark the line that I'm going to cut down. So I'm going to mark 16 inches on this side, in the middle, and on the other side that you can't see. So I'm just going to go to 16 inches, and on the other side, the masking tape is right underneath there. 16 inches. $16 inches here in the middle. And then 16 inches here. Then since I got this nice metal straight edge, I can line it up. Make a nice straight line. But since this straight edge doesn't go all the way across, going to have to connect that line over here. Just be really careful. Well, my line is kind of screwed up, it looks like, not exact. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, it is 16 inches here. Yep, still 16 inches. 16 inches. You can just kind of bring it on down the line and see if you got any screw ups. And I imagine them. My board's totally straight. So now I got a nice line to cut, and this is taking longer than I thought it would. So, this is, you got to get to know, so you got to get to know your saw. So, this is going to be kind of weird with the webcam. So, with my saw, I got these two notches here, right? Boom, boom. Okay? My blade will cut to the very right side of the center of this notch here. So what that means is, if I follow that line perfectly down into this little triangle, then that line won't be touched. But that line has to be to the left of my blade. Right? Does that make sense? So my blade is actually on this side of this triangle right here. So when you see me cut, the direction, what side I start on is important, because if I start on the wrong side, I'm cutting on the inside of that line. I'm going to make my board less than 16 inches wide. Okay, so, alright, I'm going to cut in the next step. Alright, so I'm about to cut. As you can see, I got my big heavy thing hanging, sitting on this side. And on this side, I've actually taped the board down to another table. Let's look below here. So I'm going to cut right down that little channel right there. And so hopefully, that'll keep it nice and free of vibrations. So I'm going to cut from this side of the table, because remember, my blade cuts to the right of that little triangle. So if I line up that triangle here, zip, all the way down, I should be good. Another thing you should probably do is wear eye protection, which I didn't do. So now I got a nice 16-inch wide board, and my paintings are 16 by 20. So I'm just going to take a piece of tape here. I've already marked the 20 inches before I hit record. So I'm just going to put a piece of masking tape on the 20 inches to protect it, like so. And let's take a look at that, at the thing we just cut. So here, let's go down here to the masking tape, peel it off a little bit. As you can see, got a nice, focus there, got a nice pretty little line going on. I kind of have a little notch right here I'm going to have to take a razor blade to. But everything else, you know, looking nice and straight. So I'm going to measure 20 inches on the other side. Flip it over. Inches. If you haven't done a lot of carpentry, take your time with your measurements. 20 inches. Line it up. Mark it. I'm going to scooch my other board out of the way here. Alright, here's pause. Sorry about that. My webcam rigging could be better, let's just say that. Okay, so where the heck did I put that saw? Okay, so now I'm going to cut. I don't feel like putting the webcam in the right spot. I'm cutting from this way, like that. And I have subwoofer on this side, and on this side I have it taped down to another table, and I have a nice little gap here in which to cut. On my triangle up. Probably should have done that a little slower. If you do it slower too, your cut slower, you'll get less roughness. You know, I kind of notice a little bit of roughness on this side, but I'm sure that this side is perfectly fine. So, yeah, let's just take off the masking tape. Ooh. Take off the masking tape. Still got to be careful with the masking tape. This stuff can still rip. It's easier than foam core, but it still can happen. So there you go. There's a nice 16 by 20 piece there. So that's how you do it, folks.